Morning. I'm honored to be your New England region president for RRC. And this series that we're doing, Mastermind Mondays, is something that I had a dream of, and I brought it to my talented team. And again, you're going to meet Kelly this week and Nora, co-chair educators, who are soliciting some great speakers and even some highlighted members of our own to bring you a great message and pack it all into 30 minutes. So we're very respectable of your time. It's now 12 noon. And I just want to say I'm happy to spend a virtual 30 minutes with Laura Monroe. She actually, she has two of my passions. She's a hopeless optimist like myself and an insatiable learner like myself. So I think we're like probably soul sisters. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly and Nora, who will introduce Laura to you all. And we'll probably mute everybody during the presentation and then open up for frequently asked questions that you may have or enter them into the chat. Kelly?
Nora? I guess. Hi, Kelly. Welcome, everyone. It's great to have everybody here. I'm so excited to hear Laura. And Kelly, I'll have you do the introduction.
Great. I'm Kelly Catallo. I'm coming to you from my home office in Medford. I hope everybody's safe and healthy. And it's our privilege to have Laura Monroe, who is no stranger to anybody, from Inman. She's a 20-year industry and public relations executive, entrepreneur, and real estate brand strategist. As the global head of community at Inman, Laura currently leads and cultivates a global community network of forward-thinking agents, brokers, tech entrepreneurs, and executives, as well as the Inman Brand Ambassador Program. Through Inman's media, publishing, and conference events, with a passion for community and experience in marketing, business development, and technology, Laura is also proud to be an NAR Reach Mentor, a speaker, and has been recognized by Inman News, Riz Media, and T360 as an industry influencer and newsmaker, and has even been dubbed the best hair in real estate. Laura Monroe.
Thank you so much. You can tell that I wrote that bio myself, right? It's full of ego. I'm really excited to be here today and meet everybody. I'm coming to you. I love how you say you're coming from your home office. I'm coming from my home office in Northern California, just outside of Sacramento. I'm kind of between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe. So love it. It's just about Tahoe time if we get our restrictions lifted.
So Laura, this is your 10 minutes to do your presentation on digital remarketing and what our realtors should be doing to pivot in today's world.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the conversation has been kind of ongoing, right? So it's been a very different way to sort of unroll and pivot, because a lot of us are sort of started off with sort of this, oh my gosh, is this really happening? What do I do? All of us geographically are having very different restrictions that are being placed upon us in terms of essential services, virtual open homes, and different strategies. But one of the things that I think that I have really been seeing and hearing about that's really making a difference is continuing to lead your community, continuing to lead your database, and gathering as much information as possible to be able to inform your clients and your team members about what is actually happening regarding selling homes. There's a lot of confusion. I think we've all sort of felt the confusion, sort of the shock and awe of going through this situation. But immediately the team leaders and the brokers that we've been talking to immediately moved into they kind of got out of their pajamas and after a few weeks and said, we've got to put together a game plan. So the first thing was getting a game plan together. And usually that starts off with a crisis communication plan. So we've seen that take on not only scripts that you can make your calls to your database, but as well as just being able to set up some communications through social media. So as we've seen more agents hop online and do things more virtually and on video, they've really leveraged the social media platforms to be able to communicate what's going on in the area. Frankly, buying and selling is still happening. And whether or not you've changed the way that you're actually doing business, the results can still be the same. So with your current clients, you need to double down on those communications, nurturing them, finding ways to go out and actually see them in the community, reach out to them, see if they're doing okay. But if they have any questions, be ready to answer all of that. So for team leaders, that's been setting up some protocols regarding setting up the virtual open homes, what requirements they're going to need to practice the ultimate health and safety of both their clients as well as themselves, and communicating that really openly and really formally have a plan, to be able to speak intelligently about how you've put this plan together, and that it might seem different, but this is exactly the way that it needs to be moving forward, and that as things change, you are in constant communication with county, local, state, city, community officials to be able to make those changes as needed. And more than anything, clients just need to be reassured that you're still there, that you're still operating, that you still have homes and inventory available when necessary. And for those people that are feeling sort of stuck into, what do I do? It's sort of this, this paralysis of what do I do? It really just starts with reaching out to your clients in your database, because building that pipeline out 30, 60, 90 days as restrictions are lifted. And I don't know about any of you, but even this week, just hearing in the news about other geographical locations that may be opening before you is already sort of giving you a sense of positivity about things are still happening. We're still going to be doing some buying and selling, and really just finding out the ways to do that in the best, most professional way possible. So that's what we're seeing in the pivot, because we literally can't answer too far in the future, but we can definitely continue to reach out to our current clients and continue to ask questions. So now is not the time to be not scheduling in those times to reach out and come out with a plan for both your team, because that confidence level, that leadership level is really what builds that confidence to put people's toe back out in the market. So that's what leadership is. And I think that that's what I'm continuing to see, is that it gives you a sense of calm, that you're actually informed, you're doing the right thing. Business is going to continue, maybe not at the same level, maybe not with all the answers, but you're continuing to reach out and be more relational and less transactional, obviously, because we have less transactions that are happening, but those relationships are huge.
So Laura, let me ask you a question. Like, what would be your top picks for people communicating with people digitally? Are you like gearing towards one product or one program over another?
I think it depends on where you're comfortable. Obviously Zoom meetings have just completely taken out, but there's a little bit of fatigue around there. And that's that's great for doing, listing presentations or things like that. It's stable. Obviously you can play with backgrounds and do some different things like that. What I've really seen that I think is great is that for those of us that have been hesitant to really get on social media, whether that's Facebook video or Instagram live videos, those have been absolutely stellar, because it's a differentiator. If we look at our screen right now, if we took a screenshot of this, it might look very similar to any other meeting out there. People can feel like they're together, but we're not really hearing the information. We're not hearing the inflections of voices. But if you actually take this kind of thing live, out loud, into your social media channels, whether you're doing, let's say like you're doing a virtual open home or a listing presentation, don't be afraid to maybe hit the Facebook watch live stream button and, push it out a little bit. Let people see you speak, let them hear you give information. And if you're okay with like popping up a video into your phone and then pushing that out into your Facebook business page or anywhere out on Instagram, just that consistent message of calm and assuredness and community does an amazing job. So Zoom, Facebook watch parties are great. And also Instagram live or Instagram video stories are huge, I think, right now. And the other cool thing is that if you love using Facebook, which is my main platform, they've just tried to compete with Zoom. They're opening up all sorts of messenger videos. So now you can add more people onto your messenger videos. You can just do a lot more through your phone. So keep your eyes and ears out to find those more unique ways of using the social media channels, because right now all of those companies are continuing to improve on those platforms to compete with one another.
Do you see like age brackets based upon who you're communicating with, which tool you should be used? Like, is there like the over 60 tool, use this, the millennial tool, use this? Do you see any differentiation there?
Based on audience, I don't think it's necessarily who's using which tool, but I mean, I think we can all agree that Instagram is great for those quick, you know, going through the feed. I just want to get a pop of something visual. Those are going to be sort of your younger content absorbers. I know that like my 25-year-old and my 20-year-old are both on Instagram. They have several Instagram accounts, both are with their friends, some are more public. So they really utilize that platform to the hilt. They would much prefer being there than on Facebook. If you have a clientele or in your niche is a little bit, you know, skews a little bit older, I mean, I think that they're on Facebook a little bit more, but let's face it, I mean, we're all trying to get used to all of the digital tools that are out there. It's been incredibly positive to see people just sort of trying new things. I've seen a ton of people just try to create new videos in general. And it's been really fun to watch them get creative. So I think now's the time to pick a nice channel that you feel comfortable with and experiment. I mean, obviously TikTok is another one, but I think that's great for having fun and getting creative. I think it should still be used with a little bit of moderation in terms of building out a new audience. I think it's still a little bit tricky for real estate marketing, but you never know. Some people are having some good luck with that type of thing too, if they skew really young.
Nora's been doing some great TikToking every day with her daughter there, and she seems to be getting quite a few people following her.
Yeah.
So our realtors are getting creative. So let's talk about, you know, what are you seeing from like the website developers? So you've worked with so many of them through the years, and how are they changing their product so that, you know, we all want that all-in-one platform. And now that, you know, we've gone from our face-to-face, I'm a big face-to-face person, I love people, to digitally. And so that's also putting this back on them to start incorporating some of those things into their products. So who would you say would be like the top ones there to be watching?
Wow. Well, you know, what's interesting about web development and websites specifically for real estate is that, you know, there's two philosophies. If you are a hunter, meaning that you like to have a website that actually provides you leads, it's not just a sort of a forward-facing window shop for your brand or for your office. But if you actually try to get leads and you have a strategy around doing that, then there are definitely certain websites that would allow for better SEO, search engine optimization, and things like that, which I think is amazing. I mean, I used to work with, last year I was with Real Estate Webmasters, and one of the things that I love about that is that it's higher end, it's more custom, but they do a ton of Google ads, pay-per-click, search engine optimization. And one of the new things I've seen them pivot with is that they have, you know how like you go to a website and the first thing you see is sort of a static image or maybe a video image that takes up the first half of your screen, and then you have to scroll down below to see listings. What Real Estate Webmasters has done is taken that whole first half and created actual 3D virtual listing information. So if you decide to use that whole top half to show off a virtual 3D virtual tour like Matterport or something like that, then that's the amazing place to do that. And it gives you the option to create something that's very visually oriented. But if you're someone that, and that, again, that's higher end, and I think that you need to have a real strategy for getting those leads back to yourself and managing them. And if you're on a team, certainly distributing them the way that you need to for your brokerage. But if you are someone that is just looking for that website to really represent you online, now is the time to take care of any rebranding efforts, any content efforts in your, we may not feel like we have a lot of spare time, but now is definitely the time to be putting the type of content that consumers are going to start looking for back out online. So if you have a blog, or if you're doing things on Facebook that you can embed into your website, now's the time to use that as your communication hub, and start giving some people a place to come back to find out more information, as well as search homes. So, and know your data. Know if you are someone that has your IDX listings showing up from the MLS and you have featured listings, take some of that data from the MLS and actually put it back into market reports, neighborhood reports, community reports. Find ways to do them, talk about them on video and put them back out there, but refer people back to your website for more information. It's really about how are you capturing your audience? How are you turning those conversations into pipeline interest down the road? And it's the curiosity factor, right? It's giving them the data, giving them the visuals, giving them the inventory, but more importantly, giving themselves your personality to be able to answer those questions so that you're top of mind.
Right. So speaking of questions, if there's anybody here on the call that has a question, there's two ways you can do it. If you'd like to ask your own question in the chat box, you can click raise hand and Nora will unmute you and we will call on you to answer your question. Or you can actually just chat it into the chat box. You can just type it in and then we'll ask Laura for you.
Or any challenges that you might be having, or anything like that. I feel like it's really good to kind of get a sense of how things are. I mean, I'm in California, so I'm very in tune to what's going on in California. So even if you just want to chat and tell me how things are going in New England, what you're seeing, I would love to be able to take it back to the team and just kind of let them know what's going on there. What are you guys, essential services? Have restrictions been listed? Are things opening a little bit? Like, what's going on with you guys?
So we are town to town, but before we go off on that subject, there is a couple of questions.
Okay, good.
So can you explain the Facebook watch parties a little bit more? Because I think most people here don't know what they are.
Right, cool. So for any of you that have ever recorded a video, even if it's a pre-recorded video that you sort of film on your phone and then you upload either to your personal profile or to your Facebook page, you can then go back in and actually start what Facebook calls as a watch party, meaning that if I click the watch party button, it'll automatically start playing that video and it will push it back out into either your feed, or you can even select to put it in a group. So like what I do, for example, at Inman, is sometimes I'll see someone's video in my normal Facebook feed, but I hit a watch party and then I share it in our community group, which has like 20,000 real estate professionals. And I am able to now share that video and push it out into the marketplace for other people to see. And I might be able to lead my own commentary or add in my own chat questions. But if you're looking to really engage on Facebook, record a video or start a live, and then let people do a watch party to be able to see what you're doing. So here's a tip for you. Start a Facebook group that's all about virtual home showings. When you go in there, even if you've just pre-recorded a virtual home showing, put it into that group and share it out, and have people that are also in the group start watch parties and actually share that out. That you're going to get so much more opportunities and views for people to be able to see that kind of thing, that really shows off what you're doing in the community. And again, right now, the most important thing now is reaching people with the relationships, reaching people with your leadership around the knowledge that you have, as well as your personality. So right now, there's not a lot of transactions floating in the air, you really want to be warming people up. And the more people you can reach with sort of that warm up content, then the more they're going to reach out to you later on. We're seeing a lot, especially in rental markets. We're just seeing a ton of new action. We're seeing a lot of the medical professionals that are going to start moving around. We have mobile nurses. There's going to be a lot that's going on. And I think it's going to be different, but it's going to be unique. And there's some opportunities. And I think if you dig a little, you'll find them.
So Laura, let me ask you this question. So you're with Inman, and Inman They usually have their conference in July, and they had to pivot, and now they're coming up. What was the dates? June
2nd through the 4th.
Okay, and so what can we expect to be different now that you're going to be a virtual conference? What can we expect from that? And what are you going to present that our realtors could benefit from?
Absolutely. Well, we're still working on the agenda, because the unique thing about pivoting a big conference, which normally has about 5,000 attendees, is that we're in this really interesting moment of, typically we'll decide the content, and then we'll bring in speakers to sort of help us understand that content. And right now we're sort of doing it the opposite. We're trying to bring in the right type of professionals to help us understand what's happening in the moment, because things are happening so quickly. But what you can expect to see, obviously, is a fully digitized virtual event, which has been a really unique experience for us as a team. We've been trying out different virtual platforms, so it will not be on Zoom, I can tell you that. It will have an exhibitor area and a session area and a stage area. We're working on some really fun digital graphics to be able to do that. It'll be part pre-recorded sessions, part recorded sessions. I think the really fun thing I'm looking forward to is some of the after hours networking sessions that we usually have, which will be done virtually. So we're thinking about like scavenger hunts and bingo and, meet the speaker sessions. And I myself raised my hand to see Ryan Serhant from New York be able to just pop into a live chat session and maybe meet a bunch of us and chat with us. So we're getting really creative with our sessions. We don't want it to be 3 days of just sitting in front of your computer. So we're being really cognizant of time zones and other countries and watch habits, so that people don't get as fatigued. So it's unique for us to be able to do this. So I'm really excited. We launched our ambassador program for 2020 last week. We have about 40 different ambassadors all across the country that not only will be representing and trying to facilitate deeper conversations and offline get-togethers and networking things, but they're really a cognizant part of us building out our community online as a whole. So I'm really excited about what we're doing with that. So I think community is a big deal for me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how you guys all pull this off, because I think so many aspects of it, realtors are going to pick up on it, and they're going to bring that into their business as well. But we do have a question from Richard Nettis. Richard, do you have a question?
No, I'm sorry.
Come on.
Oh, can you make one up? Nora, did you have a question too that you wanted to ask?
No, you got my question answered on the Facebook watch parties, but somebody on the chat had a question about the Facebook watch parties in general. How long do they last, or should they last?
Oh, okay. So once your video is out, I think a good 5 to 10 minutes, if you're doing a 5 to 10 minute, either a conversation with someone, or you're doing a home showing, don't worry too much about the length of it. The good thing is on the watch parties is that if people are actually watching, they can decide how long they want to actually watch it and see it all the way through. So, but I do think that it's good to, usually it takes a good 2 minutes for people to really, start watching it, get engaged with the content or what's happening. So give them a little bit of time to jump on. You'll still get additional views and comments even weeks down the road. It's actually really interesting to see it play out. I was speaking yesterday, in fact, with Gary Gold, who was the agent out of Beverly Hills who sold the Playboy Mansion a couple years back. And he actually messaged me and he said, I'm doing all of these videos and they're getting tons of views, but we're not really getting a lot of comments. And I told him, I said, sometimes if you're doing educational comment where you're telling people, this is the way it is, you're not going to get a lot of comments, but what you are going to get are the views, because people are really interested in the information. They take it, they absorb it. But if you turn it back on them, and I said, Gary, maybe next time what you do is you actually take it from ask me anything. And I've had these questions come to me by my buyers and sellers in the area, and these are the questions that are most relevant to them. And so I'm going to take them one by one, and I'm going to put them in the video, and I'll explain them as we go along. So first question. And what happens is that you get more engagement because people automatically feel drawn in to that type of commentary, rather than, you're just filming yourself and you're just looking in the camera and you're just talking to one person. Like, bring people in, ask those questions, look directly into the camera so that people see you. And it really gets more engaging. And he, even at that level, he was like, good, because I'm really getting into this videos and my 14-year-old is home with me and he's helping me edit them. So he's having a lot of fun, and he's like, I swear I'm going to get really good with this stuff. So it's exciting to see people do that and take advantage of that. So
well, what I've seen is also exciting is Mark Zuckerberg. I think it was about an hour long. He did a huge thing over the weekend. He's basically, they are bringing back the dual or the 2-person Facebook Lives, which is fabulous.
Yes.
So I think they ended that around November. I don't know why. So that's great. And then also they're doing other features, I guess you call it quasi Zoom. So if anybody has a chance to check that out, there are new enhancements that they're rolling out.
Yes. And, episodic videos are great too, because if you can do them and release them at a consistent time and day and things like that, then people actually become an audience. It's like regular programming, and like how we used to get our old TV guide back in the day. I was like, oh, I know that so-and-so is actually going to be broadcasting a live video, Friday at noon. And this is great for me because I can make sure that I go back and I watch them. And I would encourage you, take some of these mastermind sessions, go ahead and take the Zoom platform, and you can go live right from Zoom out onto Facebook. So you can take any of these mastermind sessions, drop them into a group, drop them onto a Facebook page, and record them and get them out there. And people, if they've missed the actual event, it still could be streamed live and then watched again later. And it's just a way to sort of bring that online atmosphere together. So it's been really fun to watch.
No, absolutely. So Laura, it's been great having you here for our
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Had a ton of fun.
Yes, thank you. So I also want to acknowledge that the president of the Residential Real Estate Council is with us here again today, Richard Waystack. Richard, do you have a few words you want to say?
Hey, Kelly, great job. Laura, wonderful information. Thanks so much for sharing. Kelly, Nora,
Richard.
and Cheryl, you guys are continuously doing a wonderful job for the members here in New England. Just a couple things. Reminder that RRC has a national election for their next first vice president. We have 2 candidates running, Pam Ruggiero from Arizona, Kim Cameron from St. Louis, who will be meeting with us in the member update, and that's May 12th, I believe, at 2:30 in the afternoon. They will have an opportunity to present to all of our members, and the members are going to have an opportunity to question the candidates. So it's very inclusive. Membership is choosing leadership of this organization. I'm a firm believer in that. It's the right thing to do. So reminder that we will be having an election that will occur literally the day after that we do that member update at our national meetings. So thanks, everybody. And I've got to go show a house. So thanks for what you're doing. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Laura, great job.
Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Richard. And we do hope to see everybody again next Monday. So when we talk security and real estate, how can we ever have that conversation without Alex Camilio? So we're really excited to bring Alex here in next Monday from 12 to 12:30 on our New England Region Mastermind Monday. And how do you protect your digital world? So I know today Lisa had some Zoom questions. I think Alex already has an answer for you on that. We've been, thanks to Nora, locking things down here, trying to make sure that we don't get hacked on our great conversations here with our fellow realtors. And Alex has some solutions on that. So we actually kind of deep dived on a few different things, including virtual open houses. So the week after Alex, we do have Joe Scood, an Inman ambassador, who's going to be with us. Joe has been successfully doing virtual open houses in the Boston marketplace, and he's going to teach you how he's been doing it and doing them live. So it seems like every day there's something new coming out. I know I got an email yesterday from Realtor.com on how you can host those live as well. So Joe's got some great tips there. So we have a full schedule. We are moving some speakers around from week to week, depending upon what the topic is and how hot it is to your business today. Cheryl?
Okay. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Nora. And I just wanted to thank a few more people. Thank you, Lisa, Parento for getting it out on social media, the exposure for Laura. Appreciate that very much. Also, I hope you all received your first newsletter this year from our new VA, Sarah Crawford, coming out of Chicago. In that newsletter, there's a list of not only the Mastermind series, but also webinars and CEU educational opportunities, as well as your designation credits that you're going to need to get your CRS designation. So please look at that. Like Richard says, there is a vote coming up, and if you want to learn more about the candidates, you certainly go to crs.com, go to who we are, and then click on leadership, and there's beautiful bios about all of those individuals. They're all super people, but your vote's going to count, so we want to make sure you get a chance to meet them all. And lastly, Kate Linigan McGregor, she's been awesome helping us get out the Zoom invitation. It is a reoccurring invitation, so you should not need a new email from that, but if you ever get in trouble, just don't hesitate to reach out to any one of the leadership team. Rick Coughlin is on the line, I see him, and then Marie Presti, who are our co-chairs for finance, Christine McClellan. We have leadership directors in every of the 6 states that the New England region represents. I see Vicki Kennedy's on here from Maine. So I think, Laura, your idea to do a watch party, I mean, we got 6 states that we could help highlight each other's listings. So I take that on as a challenge. So
I would love it. And I'd love to see you all do a watch party for Connect Now too. Maybe that would be fun. Get a bunch of people together and maybe do a watch party and talk about content and what you're learning. I would love to get some check-in with you after the event and see how it all went.
I think that sounds like a challenge. Okay.
I think it's a challenge.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. It's 12:31. I hope you feel like you learned something today, and please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us on great topics. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Wonderful
so much.
job. Excellent.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.